The Haunting in Connecticut. I just got back from seeing like a 3 o'clock showing of this movie. I'm on spring break this week, so I'm also seeing Monsters vs. Aliens tonight. So that review should be up later tonight. I'm seeing it at like 7 o'clock. Yeah, I would have seen one of them tomorrow, but I have to work all day tomorrow. And you know, whatever. I like seeing a lot of movies in one day. Good for the brain, not good for the wallet. The Haunting in Connecticut. I'm really not scared that easily at all when it comes to scary movies. I'm just really not that big of a fan of horror movies. I see the ones that look interesting, but I'm just never really been a big fan of horror movies. But the trailer for this movie really did intrigue me. I thought it looked creepy. And after seeing it, there are some weird things in this movie, but it's not scary. Not at all. This is a movie that gets a pretty good setup. It takes some good time to well develop these characters. The main character is this boy that I think the actor did do a really good job with the material he had. And so he's got cancer. They moved to Connecticut because they're going to this hospital in Connecticut for his treatment. There's like, oh, there's no point in going back and forth. Let's just move there. And hilarity ensues. You know exactly what's going to happen. And this is what I can't stand about horror movies. This movie is a great example of what I cannot stand. It's all an hallucination. 75% of the movie is we see something in the dark, we turn the lights on, it's not there. He holds hands with his family to pray, all of a sudden, ooh, he sees an image from the past, opens his eyes, it's gone. Over and over and over and over and over and over again. It never evolves into anything more, except for, of course, when the big bang ending comes. And at that point, I was just uninvolved, and it tries to finish up this story on, you know, the past of this house. I just thought it was bad storytelling. The story was really confusing. I mean, well, it wasn't really confusing, but it just felt like they kept changing it. And there was a point where this reverend guy says something. I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. They could have made a really good movie out of this, but instead they just resort to cheap scares. And that's really all this movie is. It's bad storytelling buried under really cheap scares. There are a few creepy moments. Some of them just don't make sense, but after a while, it just gets really old and just silly. They had a good setup with this house. The set is kind of cool with this house. I really like. Well, there's this, you know, you've seen the trailer. You know, there's this room in the basement that they can't get through. I thought that there was kind of a creepy, mysterious factor to that. But then they just kind of ruin it because they keep going in there and it just kind of loses the edge. And it just grew kind of old. And they never really did much to it. And when the ending comes, where they gotta finish this off, it felt like they just kept making more stuff up. And there's a scene in this movie that's basically an exact shot-to-shot ripoff of the classic scene in The Shining where he busts the axe through the wall and then the woman screams. I'm serious. There's like an exact shot-to-shot replica of that. And I didn't know if they were like going for parody or are just hacks. My guess would be the second one. There's a scene in this movie where a bunch of creepy stuff is happening. They should know by now that this house is not the safest place. And then the house like comes to life and it's so stupid. It's like Mary Poppins. Like all the windows and all the doors are like shutting all by themselves. And I'm supposed to be scared, but I'm just sitting there asking myself, why didn't they just check into a hotel? Now the friend that I saw this with is a big pansy. And I've seen scary movies with him before and he gets creeped out easily. He agrees with me. This movie is not scary at all. There were some stupid girls behind me that screamed the entire time. I don't know if they were actually scared, but I think some people are gonna find some stuff to like in this movie. I really didn't. I would say it has some good stuff in it, but basically all that good stuff is just ruined with just poor storytelling, and a lot of it is just so unnecessary. It mainly just follows all the scary movie cliches when they don't really need to. Like all these. Of course, they have to find out what's wrong with the house. So the girl goes to the library, comes back and goes, okay, well, here it is. There was a boy, and then for some strange reason, we don't know why, a plant started to come out of his mouth, and it blew up and killed everyone. All right, now do you understand? I think they had something going here for a minute. It starts out actually pretty suspenseful. I'm like, all right, critics are on drugs. Let's get a good scary movie. But no, I want to see a good scary movie. A movie to where when they turn the lights on, the scary person is still there. To when the little kid gets locked in the elevator shaft, he doesn't get out safely. I want to see one without a happy ending. And this is not that movie. It might look good. You might like it. I don't know why. You might. But I say pass. Overall, I'm going to give The Haunting in Connecticut a 4.5 out of 10.